So, is Don Sweeney garbage at his job? Got some Paul for the locker room. Appreciate if you guys could drop a like, comment, and hit that subscribe button down below. This is going to be kind of a Bruins rant video. So, stick with me. If you're a Bruins fan, you'll enjoy this. If you're a Bruins hater, heck, you might even enjoy this more. Or if you're a Bruins lover, you might enjoy it. I don't know. Anyways, let's get right into it. Is Don Sweeney terrible at his job? After the Ullmark trade to Ottawa, where they got the first round pick, 25th overall of this draft, and Korpisalo, in return. A lot of Bruin fans were not happy with that return. They felt like they didn't get enough. And this is the thing. Generally, I'm making this very, very clear. Generally, you do not get a massive return on a goaltender. A lot of teams are wary to deal for other goalies because sometimes when they go into a new situation, a new system, they are nowhere near as good. So I think getting a first overall, which is what first round pick, which is what it is. I hate when people say, well, it's not really a first round pick. No, it's the 25th pick. That is a first round pick, regardless if it's a little bit lower in the first round. And I think that's a solid piece to get back in return. You're not going to get Brady Tkachuk. You're not going to get Stutzla. You're not going to get something crazy in a return. I would have preferred if they were going to get a current NHLer, maybe a guy like Shane Pinto included into the deal instead of Korpisalo, but overall, I think the return was fair. Not great. I wish they could have got a little bit more, but looking at it, yeah, I'm not too surprised, and especially after you see Logan Thompson, who was an all-star goalie in his own right, while younger and definitely does not have the pedigree and the track record of a guy like Ullmark. They only got a third rounder for him in Vegas. So I'm not too surprised. That's generally how it is. Even really good goaltenders in the NHL, it's very rare to get above a second round pick for them, as weird as that is to say. The one thing I will criticize with Sweeney is I wish we didn't get Korpisalo because you got term on him. Yes, the Senators retained a little bit of that cap hit, but at the same point, I think you had two goaltenders down the AHL, whether it was Bussy or DiPietro, that would have filled in fine in a backup role. Jeremy Swayman is going to be the horse. That is definitely clear after they dealt Ullmark. They're going to pay Swayman, whether it's 7-8 mil. Heck, my luck knowing at the time this video is uploaded, the contract might come out. But they're going to pay Swayman his money, and they're going to lock him up in the long term because in that playoff run and the past few seasons, he has shown that he's continually improved, and I'm perfectly fine with him being the bona fide number one. But getting back to Sweeney. Sweeney he's had some hits, right? He's had some hits in his signings and trades, and that's the one thing I want to be fair to him in this regard. Let's not act, especially late in Bergeron's tenure as a captain of the Bruins. You know, they did go all in. I mean, just looking at it very fairly, when that historic year was happening, they dealt for Tyler Bertuzzi. Years before that, they traded for Taylor Hall. They brought in Hampus Lindholm. They did everything in their power to maximize this roster, give them enough talent to win another Stanley Cup during Bergeron's career. Unfortunately, it did not pan out that way. So, while I think earlier in Sweeney's tenure, he kind of got fleeced in some deals and made some poor signings, I think he's continually improved as the years have gone on. The one thing, and this is the one thing that does kind of irk me with Sweeney, he misses a lot on his draft picks. Now, he's hit on some. I'll be fair, he has hit on some, and for whatever reason, he's very good at undrafted free agent signings. But you got to have a little bit more of a conversion percentage. And while I do really like John Beecher, and looking back at that draft class, he's definitely not the worst player you can get out of it. A first-round pick just kind of being a solid fourth liner, maybe potentially a third liner. He is an NHL player, so maybe I'm being a bit unfair. You want a little bit more from a first-rounder. It was late in the first, so maybe I'm being a bit too critical. But Sweeney's got to hit more on the draft. Now, to be fair, Matthew Patra, he looks like a great draft pick. If he becomes a great second-line center, if not more than that, that's definitely a fantastic value pick there. And I liked the pick of Dean Letourneau. from the St. Lawrence College. He had a terrific season, and it's not the highest competition what he was playing in, but you have to judge him on the league he was playing. 56 games played, 61 goals, 66 assists for 127 points. He's 6'7". Love that. I really do love that because Sweeney, for whatever reason, really loves his smaller defensemen. I think this is going to be a good pick, and with that size, scouting reports say he doesn't skate like a guy that's 6'7" that doesn't know his body. He's very fluid, a very good skater, which is a very good sign, especially if you're going to play forward. And he's going to be committed to Boston College. And as a BC Eagles fan, hey, that's going to be a lot of fun to watch. I'll definitely try to go to some games in person. It will be fun to watch a 6'7" hulking center take the dot. Some people, not me, some people in some Bruins boards are like, oh, this is just a bigger Eric Lindros. And while Lindros might get a little bit of crap for the tenure of his career, he was a fantastic hockey player when he didn't have to deal with the concussions. When he was healthy, he was great. If Letourneau decided to become Eric Lindros and stay healthy, that is a hell of a player. But I don't want to put that on him yet. He's still going to be playing in BC for a couple years. And I think that's going to be the best thing for him, develop at the Division I level in NCAA. You're going to be playing against some older players that are going to be kind of used to playing with guys with size, maybe not somebody that big. But I did like some of the draft picks today by the Bruins. And if he can hit, if Dean Letourneau is a hit, I think Sweeney, while not completely fixing his draft history, you're starting to see it trend in the right direction. So do I think Sweeney's terrible at his job? I think everybody wants to talk about that draft. It was 2015, the DeBrusk, Zaboral, Sessionen were two of those players. Zaboral and Sessionen really never became anything for the Bruins. DeBrusk finally hit, took him a little bit, and his contract situation will be very interesting. I'm hoping the Bruins don't overpay him because player, he can be a little bit inconsistent, but not everyone's a McDavid, Draisaitl, Kucherov, right? I think as time's gone on, he's got better. If I was to rate him, I think he's like an average to above average general manager. I have liked some of the moves he's done the last 5 years or so. I think he's tried to maximize the Bruins core as they've gotten older. They've had some nice hits. Do I think he's the worst general manager in the NHL? No, I wouldn't go that far. There's a lot worse general managers you could deal with. And considering some of the big players he has hit on, I think Bruins fans might complain a bit too much in comparison to some of the terrible drafts that other teams make. Bruins definitely need to hit. They need to go acquire more draft picks. They need to kind of shore up the prospect pool. Another big determining factor on how I rank Sweeney is Fabian Lysell. Is he going to be anything at the NHL level? Because I thought there was kind of an outside chance last season he'd get an opportunity to show what he's got. The Providence Bruins coaches kind of complained about his 200-foot game. I think this is kind of a make-it-or-break-it year for Lysell. Maybe that's a little, he's a younger player, but this is kind of the prime opportunity. If he's going to come up and showcase what he's got, he has a good chance here with the Bruins. They desperately need a solid top six winger. But yeah, I think Sweeney, average, above average, beginning of his tenure, really looking back into the catalog, the history, I should say, not the greatest. But I felt like he's gotten better as time's gone on, and that's what you want from a general manager. But I'd like to know your thoughts down below in the comments section, Bruins fans. Do you like Don Sweeney? Do you hate Don Sweeney? And what were your thoughts of the Ullmark deal? I'll say, more time goes on, if Letourneau turns into something, I'm fine with it. But why did we get Korpisalo? Just rant time. Why did we get Korpisalo? Locked into term at that certain cap hit. He's not going to have much of a market. You have two goaltenders in Bussy and DiPietro that would be completely fine in a backup role, in my opinion. They put up good numbers in the AHL. Why not just give them a chance? So, I could go on a huge rant on that. But it's absolutely frustrating in that regard. I think he'll make some nice moves, and then he'll just kind of a head scratcher like that. Like, why bring yourself that contract headache? But hey, what do I know? Maybe he deals Korpisalo, or maybe Korpisalo plays with the Bruins and he puts up fantastic numbers and justifies the cap hit. But let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. What do you think of Sweeney? What do you think about the Bruins offseason thus far? Captain Paul, see you in the next one.